Good now, everybody, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. It's your place for helpful Web3 news, commentary, answers to your crypto questions. It's the place we take you through everything you never thought you wanted to know about Bitcoin, Ethereum, smart contracts, all the jargon, but without the jargon. It feels exclusive, but you're invited because that's the catch. We're building the future, and everybody's welcome. If you've got questions about cryptocurrency, if you're feeling skeptical, you're in the right place. I am so glad that so many people trust us to help them navigate this funky new technology at the foundation of the future internet. In case you missed the news, you're early, and we're excited to navigate it with you. My name is Evan. If you're seeing me for the first time, I'll be joined shortly by my colleague and co-host, Mr. Alex Popovich, and all our friends in the community that we call the Faceless Many. That is the everyday people who will rise up to write a better future. That's what the show is named for, and the only thing missing is you. We're here live every Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12 p.m. UTC. We also have all of our streams uploaded to YouTube. If you happen to miss one, we've got the Rise Up newsletter, the semi-regular list of best, briefest bullets from the show in case you miss a stream, the tips, the tricks, the links you need. And at theriseupmorningshow.com, you can find the link to join our Discord community. It's totally free to come on over there, but we've also got classes, coaching, and the best community anywhere on the blockchain. As I say, the only thing missing is you. So let me know how you're doing. I see Mike's in the audience. I see Jim's in the audience here. If you've got a crypto question, leave it below and join me in saying a big hello to Alex. Brother, how you doing? Alex, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Oh. Testing.
I got you.
Oh, there you are.
Block the sun here.
I see. Yeah, no, you're just keeping us in anticipation. And Spark says, wake up. Mike says, good morning, Alex.
Good morning.
I like the headband, man. Entering your pirate era.
I'm I'm entering my Survivor era.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like.
I just walked out of the shower like 5 minutes ago, so can't cram my head in a hat quite yet, but I need it out of my face.
Worried about that mildew. Yeah, man, I get you. There is no Will Watson today. If you want to send him your best vibes, he is at the largest flea market in the United States of America. Sounds like he's going to be having some fun treasure hunting. We told him to bring us something back for the show. Alex, is that a new mug?
It's a flea market mug, actually, in
Is
honor
it
of.
really?
Yep, that's a Goodwill. That's a Goodwill find, or no? Yeah, Goodwill, not flea market. Goodwill.
You know, same difference. Let us know where you're tuning in from, what you found at the flea market recently. Hopefully you found a hard wallet with some Bitcoin on it there. And if you've got a crypto question, of course, we want to hear that too. Alex, yesterday we talked a lot about Ethereum. I saw you made a great video about the Ethereum network, using some of that beautiful information from their website. Apparently Will has already made, what did he say, 4 videos today?
4 somehow. Yeah, couldn't tell you.
Can you imagine a world where you could make a video that fast? I don't even know if you could make one. I could maybe make 2 videos if I did one take and like no captions and just sent it. But I, as white as I am and as manly as I am, I don't have that kind of confidence, that chutzpah, as it were.
I mean, see, okay, if
Like
I
doll,
could do
I
it,
mean.
if I rolled out of bed and just filmed, but like I look like the crypt keeper, I have to like be awake for a few minutes, put some water on the face, take a lap, get the dogs up and out, kid to school, all that stuff. And this morning I was like done so early. I mean, coffee, breakfast, dogs fed, all that good stuff, showered, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to get one. I filmed one. I did not have time to edit it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I guess he literally just wakes up and, okay, the Bitcoin morning, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's just right into it. It's the only thing that makes any sense.
I think he just needs it. I really do. So good for Will. And man, good for you because I saw the return to rapid fire news. It felt like welcoming an old friend home. That was amazing, man.
I wanted to look and see exactly how many days it's been since the last one, but it's been at least a year,
Seems like longer than that.
which really just tells you how long I've been doing the TikTok thing because um, I posted rapid fire news 417 days in a row, which was not as many because I that's the day I broke the streak, and then I did keep going, but I didn't miss a day for 417 days. So I managed to post that many of them, and then still take a year off between starting it up again. But it feels good to be back.
Well, Amspar echoes our sentiment. So glad you brought back that series. It's the best crypto news in short form video anywhere, and I really do miss it.
It is fun. I missed my my headline and then pithy one liner.
Yeah, which I always appreciate. Let me ask you this: have you got a preview of the news for us yet today?
Let's take a look.
And while you do, I'm going to take a quick stroll over to the comments because we already have a question or two coming in.
Evan,
I do see. Yes.
this is how long. The last rapid fire news was October 4th, 2022.
Wow. Almost 2 years. Wow. Oh my! I knew it was longer than 1 year, man. I just knew it had to be.
Oh, that's nuts.
Man.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry. I just took a really big break. It was December 14th, 2022. That was the official last day. Okay, still a long answer.
But who's counting?
Anyway, what was the question?
So we got a couple questions coming in while you're scrolling over the news. So I'm going to put these on our list. That our new friend Tristan, welcome. Thank you for hanging out with us. Has been following Swan chain for a bit. It's got a bunch of information regarding what their utility is. Yes, Swan, like Black Swan. I want to say that I've heard of it, but I honestly, I don't know. So we can look at it. We can definitely look at it, and then also Michael has said that he loves the top 10. Oh, he's talking to me. The top 10 video. You know, Alex, I got so much flack for that video. I almost thought about taking it down because I realized, you see that video I did with that little funny filter? And I made some funny commentary at the beginning, but I tried to be serious about how, like, this is, my personal conviction in these tokens. It has nothing to do with you. Like, also,
Your
I don't think people
disclaimer.
realize I didn't pick those tokens as a top 10. I might take it down because I don't want people to think I actually think Pepe is a top 10 cryptocurrency token. that it's not just a filter, you know?
Yeah, I guess
Media literacy hurts me.
I do get that. I don't know. I have mixed feelings. It's up to you. But
I am not above taking a video down. You know how I feel about it. Let me ask a question to Tristan. I see when I search Swan crypto, and Alex, this is something interesting to talk about. Sometimes when you go to the internet to search for cryptocurrency, what you'll find is a scam. There are people who know you're searching for legitimate cryptos or legitimate companies who will put a bad link up and drive traffic to it, everything they can to get you to click a bad link that will separate you from your funds.
yes.
The first thing I see is Swan Bitcoin, which is a Bitcoin buying solution. Wire money from your bank for purchases up to $10 million. Not targeting me, obviously. And that's what I see for all of the different pieces here. The first 5 events are, and Tristan says Swan Chain. Swan Chain. Side note, I have not seen Swan Bitcoin buying, and we can look into it another time. Swan Chain, quick start. I will look at this and give it a thought. Alex, do you have some news pulled up in the meantime while I give Swan Chain a peek?
A little bit early for too much to have come out today. I'm not. Let's see. This is the one problem: is so much news is just price predictions.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks for the donut, Doug. Welcome and good morning. Let's see.
Ripple is adding EVM compatibility to their smart contracts on the ledger. So there you go. That's about the only remotely interesting thing that I'm seeing so far. I mean, that's kind of why that's an evening video. I'd like to wait until, some stuff has happened, time for the social media drama for the day to blow up or whatever.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Anyway, I noticed you got a lot of flack on that video too because you invoked the ire of the XRP army.
Man.
I wanted to say just a couple things about that. Disclaimer that Evan didn't pick those cryptos to put on those lists aside. Here's the thing. It truly doesn't matter what a talking head on the internet thinks about an invest. Like, I could come out right now and say Bitcoin is the worst thing of all time, and it wouldn't change the fact that it's the best performing asset in the history of assets.
Yeah.
Facts do not give a shit what my opinion is. Your politics, your opinions have nothing to do with the truth. So with a video like that, like if you see that someone doesn't like something and you decide that the best way to handle the fact that you now have a disagreement is to flame them for being an idiot, I hate to, you're the idiot. And you need to take a step back because that's embarrassing. I'm not saying anyone in this audience is acting like that. I'm just saying, like, if you see people who do that on videos, like, I just lose so much respect for you as a person when I see a comment like that. Because especially when the disclaimer was as long as Evan's. My God, the man talked for 5 straight minutes about how not every investment is a one size fits all, and it's got to have, more to do with what kind of a position you're in and what you can afford to put in and how long it is before you expect a return and what's your time frame.
Guys.
The man gave you an entire TED talk about the individuality of portfolio management before he rated Pepe off of a silly TikTok filter. And
I was digging into my inner curmudgeon for that.
People still complain. So, Evan, at some point, that's my feeling. At some point, you can only go so far before you've done enough. And the internet being full of morons with no attention span is just the way that it's going to be. I had a guy this morning point out in a video in one of my comments, he's like, this was a hook intended to get your attention. It's like, yes, it was. Welcome to the internet. That's why every single video. But with XRP specifically, we say all the time, I should probably just make this a video and pin it, although I don't want to waste a pin slot on this. It has nothing to do with XRP as a project. It's just the utility doesn't make any sense. But it's really hard to have that opinion because people have made XRP like the defining crypto that divides us all. Like it is the most political. It's the most inflammatory. It is the most vitriolic, and it has the most diehard community. If I had $1 for every time somebody told me just give it one more year, I'd be a millionaire. So I don't know. It's just really hard to talk about XRP, like, because I hate having to give like a 30-minute disclaimer beforehand saying, I have nothing against the people who hold it. You all deserve a pump. I hope it goes up in price for you. I truly do. Like, the Ripple carried us on their backs throughout the entire lawsuit. Like, all of this stuff is true, but at the end of all of that, the utility of the token makes no goddamn sense. And I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. Mm-hmm. So that's it. Which is why I just don't like talking about it, and yet we talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that their stablecoin rips. It should. The stablecoin's the best thing they've ever done, and I hope they remove pay rails to the stablecoin and make it so that there's a cash on ramp option. I mean, Ripple absolutely could have its own payment service. I mean, they're a big enough company. I'm sure they have enough licenses and, registrations to create their own version of MoonPay where people can just on-ramp straight into the stablecoin and use it for international transactions. That would be great. If that was the case, I'd probably get some,
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's my TED talk.
I have nothing to add, man. You know how I feel about it. I know how you feel about it. You know how I feel about it. I think, man, parents just don't understand. People come into the live stream, they see us for the first time, and they wonder, who made you guys king? And I just want to be clear. We're just two strangers.
Yeah, we're just two idiots sharing our opinion on the internet. It's worth exactly what you think it is.
That's right.
When we move this thing to OBS, you can, have like the transition videos that come up to, we'll be right back, we'll do whatever. Yeah. We definitely need to have a XRP disclaimer interlude where we just click a button on the stream deck and it's like, we love the holders, we love the project, we hope that it pumps, you all deserve a pump more than any blah blah.
yeah, with a little, and now back to our show.
Every time we get a question about it, okay, we'll be back in 45 seconds after a message from our official XRP interlude.
Yeah, I love that. Sleep says in the comments, Streamlabs. Is that the software that you were telling me about the other day that Sam uses? Or am I thinking?
He had something called Riverside, but Streamlabs has a version of OBS, but I don't know, Sleeps, I'm not sure if you're warning me against Streamlabs, because in my years of experience using the program and every streamer that I've ever talked to, OBS works and Streamlabs just adds a bunch of bloat. And I personally, I really, really don't like Streamlabs.
Doug uses Streamlabs, and he's got a slick stream.
I mean, it just has unnecessary peripherals added to it. I don't know. I've used both. OBS is just easier. I don't know.
By way of transition, welcome, Mike. I see Machistes in the comments. The tweet of the day yesterday on Warpcast, or the post, the cast, it would kill me. Dan Romero is just cringing. Did you guys see Jesse from Base streamed for 4 hours yesterday from StreamYard? I don't know if you saw this, Alex, but he made a post. Jesse Pollock, for people who don't know, is an ex-Coinbase employee number 1 at Base. It's his vision that is unfolding largely, with Brian Armstrong's blessing, to roll out all these different products like the smart wallet to bring 1 billion users on chain. He made a cast yesterday that said something to the effect of, I haven't done any real coding in a long time. Would anybody be interested in a stream of me just building an app connected to the smart wallet using our toolkit or whatever? And everyone, of course, was like, obviously, yeah, we want to see it.
Yeah, I saw a piece of it.
I waited around, but I didn't see the link. Like, what a foolish thing to do, Jesse. Don't post about it and then make me wait, man. What was the stream like? Did you enjoy it?
I just saw a little bit of it. I didn't see the announcement. I didn't see how it started. I just caught a chunk of it. I think after it was over. It was just yesterday evening. Just watched a little bit. It was cool. It's just a building in public kind of thing.
Yeah.
I enjoy that kind of stuff, especially listening to engineers talk through their process, just because it, in my quest to bridge the gap between actual users who use the product and engineers who think they're creating a good UX, you gotta speak some developer. But no, it was good.
What I like about Jesse is he can talk like a human being. And what I want to emphasize to people just, through that story is, again, the importance of getting into a community where you have high signal, where you can meet actual people who are building actual stuff. Warpcast is not like the most thriving platform on the planet, but it's a really interesting niche that is, I think, growing in bumps and starts, where you can talk to people really more than anywhere else who are like actively participating in this kind of tech, building these kind of solutions. If you want to build proximity to someone like Jesse Pollock, you can do it. You can be in the comments and in the stream and in the conversation with this guy who's more or less driving the ship for Coinbase. And that's an important place to be if you're curious or concerned about the direction of this technology. It's hard to be influential if somebody like that doesn't know who you are, you know? Now, we do have a couple other questions rolling in. So let me say real quickly, if you have a question, do put it in the comments. If we don't see it, feel free to put it again. Please don't spam. But you can also drop it in the Discord server. You can find the link for that in our bios or at the riseupmorningshow.com. It's easier for us to see things there and address them later if we happen to miss it on a stream. This goes away. Do feel free to put it in the comments, though. And I wanted to give an update on Swan before we go to John's question about Bitcoin, Alex.
Okay.
Swan, Michael, thank you for asking us about it. Swan Chain, I have given this a look. Swanchain.io. It seems like a lot of buzzwords, and I'm not saying that there isn't any solution here. When I get to the bottom of their documents, what it appears to be is that they are a decentralized network focused on distributing computing power to a variety of consumer AI applications. You need to generate an image, or you want a bunch of people's computers to power your whatever. Great. Submit the request. A smart contract will assign it based on what kind of task it is to the different kinds of computing nodes around the world who have different types of power, processing, speed, data storage. And that's how the network functions to reward different people who provide computing power or who do things on the network. But they use a lot of buzzwords: AI, gaming, DeSci, ECP, FCP, ZK engine, orchestrator. And I see a lot of typos on their website and a lot of names that make me think, and this is not a bad thing, I don't mean to sound biased or prejudiced, like English is not their first language. And I love that we live in a world where a global product can reach a global market. And I have never been a person to turn somebody down with a typo when I can understand perfectly well what they're saying. I pointed out here to say that if somebody is, partnered with NVIDIA and Google and Chainlink, and they're going to do gaming and AI and DeSci and change the future of computing and all this stuff, then they should probably hire somebody who can proofread for every audience that they intend to reach. If they're not going to be careful with the copy on their website or their Medium page, I've seen multiple things, then I got to be honest, I don't know that I trust them to build a solution that complex, or be the people who will stand at the front of the room next to someone like Steve Jobs and outcompete for attention. This is a highly competitive space. They're competing, it looks like, against our friend Mac Lorden over at Aether, which is a DPIN project that wants to unlock decentralized computing. And if Mac Lorden is on a stage talking to a room full of people, I already know that he's going to make them say, I'm glad I paid attention. But if somebody who, they can't clearly communicate their vision, they may have the best product in the world. That's a concern for me, though.
They don't.
When I look further at it, maybe. The buzzwords kind of turn me off. And the highly technical nature of it, though it may be cool. I just, Alex showed us the elegant Ethereum website yesterday, a deeply technical concept, elegantly and simply communicated with no jargon whatsoever. It's possible. And I'm bullish on people who do it well. What do you think? Without having really looked at it. I mean.
No, I looked at it enough.
Okay.
Evan's being too polite.
It could be good, though. I don't know.
No, it couldn't be, because this list of partners, first of all, is straight horseshit. They're not partnered with Microsoft, Google, NVIDIA, and McGill. I'm sorry, they're just not.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. That's not a partnership.
No, they've branded this as a partner, and they've straight lied about this. What this means is that they've looked up things on Google and that they're indexed by Google as a search engine, so that if you Google Swan Chain, they will come up. They probably use Microsoft tools and hosting services to build this thing. If they said Amazon, I would say it's just because they use AWS. NVIDIA, they probably just have, I don't know, a GPU in one of their computers.
Yeah.
And then McGill, maybe one of their founders went there. They're not
That's a good point. If a company has that many partnerships and you haven't heard about them in the news, then you should question the company. Those probably aren't real partnerships. Yeah. And if they're trying to make you think they're like real partnerships, that's what they're selling you on, there's probably not a lot of proof in their pudding.
Yeah, they're not real partners. They have way too many of them here. None of these are real. You can know that for sure because none of these partner buttons are actually links, and any real partnership, the partnership link will go to a story that talks about the partnership, because there are strategic partnerships between large companies. This is not one of them. This whole website was generated by AI with the prompt, make me a website that touches as many of the crypto buzzwords as humanly possible. There is no reason that this is going to do anything. I'll tell you right now, it's not impossible that this thing pumps, but it would pump for the same reason that Shiba Inu rocket Elon Musk Doge pumps, which is just enough people decided that they wanted it to pump. It's going to be completely random, and it's not going to have anything to do with anything. This is a pile of shit. This is one of those things that just doesn't need to exist. So just skip it. If you want, here you can
tell it like it is, Alex.
No, it's just bad. I don't know how their Twitter has. Okay, here's another good indication. Twitter, interestingly, Twitter has a shitload of followers and not an appropriate amount of interactions with any of their tweets to indicate that many followers, which makes me think that they bought some.
They botted it. I'll tell you the other thing that would make me think if any of those followers are legitimate. When I went to their Medium page, the first pinned article is about an airdrop. They've got a token. It's coming. And so far as I can tell, that's their only product that exists right now.
Like, I'll say this. If this project is legit, they have a lot of work to do. And I see almost exclusively red flags. So, call me and we'll fix it. But as it stands,
one of those companies. This is when we switch roles, because when we get on the phone with them, you're going to be like, "Well, here's how we can work with you," and I'm going to be like, "Alex, I don't want to work with a company like this that's going to pay me, but then not take my advice." You know what I mean? I feel like this would be that company.
Everyone gets a chance to not take my advice, though.
Especially if they're paying me. Yeah, that's the new philosophy. Oh my God. Yeah, it's Swan coin for those who are just joining and asking. It's probably not worth further look until we hear some more proof for the pudding.
Can one of the developers or engineers, if any of you are in here listening, go to docs.swanchain.io and just read through some of like the deploying your first smart contract stuff and tell me if it's real?
No, man. Listen, I'm sure it's real, but it's not. Don't make Machiste try and fit into 140 characters what the Kubernetes system is. And
Machiste, fit into 140 characters what the Kubernetes system is and tell me if any of this is legit. Okay. Give me a full breakdown and developer analysis and write-up of Swan Chain, please, in this TikTok.
Oh, he works for Coinbase now. He doesn't answer to you anymore.
He's never answered to me.
He's just been very, very sweet, very generous. Let me tell you what. Oh my God. Yeah, need more before I find real conviction. The consensus is I wouldn't look at this further. I wouldn't have looked at it. When I Googled it and couldn't find it, I probably wouldn't have looked further. And then when I found the website and I saw all the partners listed and couldn't understand it and saw the typos, I wouldn't have looked further. I would have waited for someone to keep talking about it, to tell me about it on social media. I almost never take very seriously tokens I hear about on social media, if it's Twitter or TikTok. I don't know about you, Alex. It's often the case, especially if you're new, like, John, you mentioned you were new. If you hear a lot about a token on social media, there's a good chance it's because they have a marketing initiative that's happening right now. And maybe that their only product is their token, especially if it seems to be coming from crypto content creators. If I don't know, who's a random creator who is not crypto whatsoever, if somebody like that tells you about something, that might be because it's real.
Run.
No, I'm thinking like the day that your waiter is asking you about Bitcoin, things like that. When it permeates the real world, or they're using it and they don't use jargon. Somebody who's not paid tells you, "Hey, have you heard about Coinbase Wallet? I just downloaded it because I don't know, whatever."
I love your sunny optimism. I've had exactly 3 interactions in my life with non-crypto people who asked me about a project, and every single one of them was about bullshit. I had an Uber driver ask me about Floki, I had someone at oh my god, where the hell was I? We were at it was someone who came through the rescue, and I made the joke that I always do to kind of prime the waters and inspire conversation when someone asks me like, how can I pay this adoption fee? I'm like, we take everything from rubles to Bitcoin. And he mentioned he was mentioning something about another even worse meme than Floki. And then someone at the gas station once saw my Aristotle shirt, and made a comment, but it was about Doge. So those are the biggest influencer led scandal that had to do with crypto that came from non-crypto people was the Floyd Mayweather and Kim Kardashian Ethereum Max scam.
See, that's not what I mean. I don't mean like that. So yeah, no, Alex is right. Let me rephrase to say, like, if somebody is using a product that happens to be tied to blockchain in a meaningful way, that is when I would pay attention to it. If your grandma or your cousin Carl is telling you, he heard you should buy this because it will make you a lot of money, it's never gonna make you a lot of money. If you hear you're early, if you hear it's small, all those things, those are never reasons to buy, and rarely reasons to pay more attention. I don't know. Alex, let me ask you this. Why does the market move so much with Bitcoin? Why does Bitcoin have this dominant effect on all the other tokens? John is new. He's in our audience and he's trying to figure it out. And it seems like that's the case. John, don't let me put too many words in your mouth. But what would you say to somebody like that? And the question beneath the question that I sense, Alex, is how do I tell where stuff is going to move? Is Bitcoin the key?
Pretty much. Yeah. So I would say there's probably a couple reasons if I tried to boil it down. One, it's just got mover advantage because it's the biggest, it's the first, and it's been around the longest. So people often look to it to test the temperature, of the overall crypto markets, because in order for all of it to go, Bitcoin needs to go. Biggest by market cap means that it's the most held, with the most money invested into it. And typically what that means, if you look at, like the classic cycle, we have yet to see if it will continue to execute in this exact manner. So take this with a grain of salt. But historically, people make money with Bitcoin, they take profits from Bitcoin and they buy altcoins with it. And then altcoins run, and then you take money out of your altcoins, you take your profits out of that. And then the market sort of falls apart for a little bit until the cycle starts over again, and it goes back into Bitcoin after Bitcoin has corrected enough. Historically, that's generally how it goes, which is why you see so many people asking about when alt season. This year has been a little bit different because alts have been running for almost a year now. The difference is that there was just a lot of big ones that didn't run, that ran last time, and that has upset lots of people because they were heavily invested in them and they didn't do anything. Forgetting for a bit that the total crypto market cap has absolutely exploded and is maintaining at a higher level than it was last time. Some stuff has really done some massive numbers. More money has gone into different things. We're more spread out than ever before, all that sort of stuff. But Bitcoin is, for me at least, is the most solid. It's the most respected. It's the most clear with regards to, regulatory compliance. It just sort of is. You can't take it down. You can't shut it off. It's getting more and more resilient because people have tried, governments have tried, but the Chinese government tried, we've tried, and now, the US has approved 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs that are being held and traded by, gigantic financial institutions. Bud, you'll have to excuse me. Actually, no, you don't have to excuse me. What do you mean it hasn't exploded?
Yeah, for anybody watching on YouTube later, our new friend Big Bud says the market cap has not exploded. Buckle up, the crypto.
No, that's fine. Let's. I always say fact check, so let's challenge that.
While Alex is pulling up these numbers, let me say just one point of additional context while we're talking about market cap. The market cap of Bitcoin at any given time is between 1/3 and 1/2 of the entire crypto market, all the other tokens put together. And then we were talking the other day, Ethereum, the second largest by market cap crypto token. The network has, what is it, like 400 billion. It's more than many of the next biggest cryptocurrencies combined. So you have such a huge amount of our market measured in such a small set of tokens, but very big networks. Bitcoin is a huge network. Ethereum is a huge network. There are more crypto tokens than ever, which only kind of dilutes this, right? I don't know what it is with Pump.Fun. It was like 10,000 tokens launching a day or something, hundreds of tokens a minute. Yeah. I don't remember what the number was, but every token that comes into existence just dilutes that number more. Bitcoin is the barometer by which those things are measured. So it's got tremendous influence. What do you got here, Alex?
All right, so this is the overall lifetime chart of market cap for all of crypto. Okay, so here is last bull run. This right here is the peak in November, the end of November of 2021, right here. Okay, we peaked at right around 3 trillion. I think we just barely crested it. Okay, that was the ultimate peak. We hit that in March this year. And we've been maintaining, although dropping lower lows, but maintaining above 2 trillion ever since. If you look here, this is the run up leading into the last bull run, where we led into it, 2019, whatever, we're at 250 billion total market cap, 2020, 250 billion, down to 150 billion, hopping around, whatever, minuscule compared to where it ended up. We then had the run up for all of 2020 here, 2021 rather, cresting up to 2.5 trillion in the span of 7 months. Okay, followed by that big summer crash in 2021, where everyone said everything was all over, and then we went to explode one more time. So I don't, you can disagree with my use of the word explode, but there's no way that you can tell me that crypto has not ripped in the last year. I mean, here we are, October 4th at $1.1 trillion total market cap. And here we are, March, 6 months later, not even $3 trillion.
I think we do have a semantic difference here. It sounds like you're using the word exploding to mean velocity of movement. It quickly accelerated from a low to a high. And I'm interpreting Big Bud to mean exploded as exceeded a past high in a meaningful way. So, if that's the difference, then I would give him that. But I would also say that his last comment about recency, unless something fundamental changes about the crypto thesis, Alex, we pretty much believe that Bitcoin is going to go up and to the right over time, and that those numbers are going to continue to go higher. I can't imagine what kind of economic macro big world event it would take to change that. I'm zooming out, looking on a bigger time frame.
Yeah, I mean, we can argue about semantics all day long. I think those arguments are generally pointless. But I don't understand how anyone could tell me that the overall that crypto has not, what do you want me to say, politely increased over the last year, when we've tripled the overall market cap just about here in the span of less than a year, October to March. I don't know. I mean, I can phrase that differently for you if you like, but at the end of the day, it has gone up a lot. Could it go up more? Sure, but nothing has changed. I made this point ages ago. Between this bull run and this one, the only thing that changed is we have 10 times more cryptocurrencies in circulation. But, as far as U.S. regulatory clarity goes, nothing has changed. We didn't pass any legislation that in any way, shape, or form offers any new clarity or guidance for companies looking to build more or innovate more stuff. The position of the U.S. government on cryptocurrency has not changed at all. There is absolutely no reason that trillions of new dollars would have arrived. I'm sorry to say. I think that there's, the ETF is a good indication, But the Bitcoin ETFs have already outperformed every other ETF launch in the history of ETFs. So like they're already pulling the weight, and Bitcoin dominance is up. So like most of this is Bitcoin push. Like if we go to Bitcoin itself, and I know this isn't the world's most exact chart ever, but bear with me. So, Bitcoin went from a 1.1, where are we at here? 1.25 trillion to almost 1.5 trillion. So there's a pretty big swing here, and now kind of ranging. But it's also the year post halving. So this is more exaggerated now than it has been previously, but keeping in mind that the last time there was a halving was around here.
Yeah,
so,
and the other thing to think about last time, we always say this. Big Bud said, but it's been 15 years. 15 years is such a small amount of time. And fundamentally, nothing, again, about the thesis of crypto and Bitcoin specifically has changed. If you want to talk about data over 15 years, we expect, we
Yes.
could expect to be right about here. September is usually a very rough month for cryptocurrencies, but end of year, especially in a halving year, has traditionally been very good, with Bitcoin sometimes setting new all-time highs. However, whether it goes up or down, as I say before, I just don't think it's likely the thesis has changed. Alex, I don't know if you saw this comment, but somebody said, what if a big holder, I think Big Jerome said, who holds the most Bitcoin, and what if they sold? I think we've talked about this before, where you've said if Satoshi sold, came online again and dumped a ton of Bitcoin onto the market, that would be a pretty big event. But at this point in time, we have reason to believe that most large holders of Bitcoin are planning to accumulate it for some future horizon, because they believe in the thesis of Bitcoin's value, in its scarcity, in its betterness than money. And while they could be lying to us, there are so many people around the world who purport to believe this, and believe it not just with their words, but with the performance of their lives. They're investing their money into this. Their lives are built around it. Michael Saylor has made the mission of his life to accumulate more Bitcoin. He may not believe that word for word in his heart, but he gets up every day and talks about it, thinks about it, spends money on it, has a company where he employs other people to do it. I think it is likely he is telling the truth. If something fundamental about Bitcoin, the network changes, it could all turn around tomorrow. But I just don't think it's likely. I think it's a lot more likely that we would have, a new Fed chair who wants to be king and crashes our economy, than it is that any one person in the Bitcoin network could gain the kind of influence to change the dynamic of that system forever. It's just unlikely. I don't know.
Yeah.
Looking at the chart.
Couple rapid fire points. Mel, do you feel market manipulation is happening with Bitcoin? I feel that market manipulation happens with every single thing that has a market. But before I pull up like more charts, what exactly are you getting at about gold and Bitcoin? Because I don't know exactly what you expect to see, or I'm sure you've looked at that chart before, but like the Bitcoin versus gold chart doesn't really look good for anything except Bitcoin.
Yeah, it looks
if you
rough.
look at gold over the lifetime of Bitcoin and Bitcoin over the lifetime of Bitcoin, it's obscene.
And when you compare them to each other, and even on fundamentals, before you look at the chart, for people who might be newer, Alex, why would Bitcoin, a store of value, but which is digital, which I can't touch, why would that outperform gold as a store of value?
I mean, everything about Bitcoin is more efficient and has a higher velocity than gold. So gold costs a tremendous amount of money to dig out of the ground, clean and refine, transport, store, transport again, sell. It's unbelievably inefficient to use for transactions. The amount of pollution, energy waste, and money that is spent, like if you've ever said that a Bitcoin transaction is slow and expensive, try a gold transaction. Try a physical gold transaction and tell me which one is slower and more expensive. If I wanted to move $1 billion dollars worth of gold from my house to Russia, I can't even fathom how expensive that would be, how long it would take, how many governments would have to be involved, how much security would be needed to move that much gold. If I wanted to send $1 billion worth of Bitcoin from here to Russia, it would be the same as me PayPaling my mom $20. It's not even close. If you want to talk about the environmental impacts of these two things side by side, the environmental impact of gold mining is absolutely obscene. It's unbelievable. The number of people that have died, ecosystems that have been damaged, wildlife that has been killed because of gold mining is insane. This world is ever digitizing at an increasingly exponential rate. I would challenge the notion that you can't touch Bitcoin to say that if Bitcoin is invaluable or is not valuable because you cannot touch it, why is any data? Do you know how much money is spent on data transactions every year? There are entire industries built on acquiring third-party data that gets sold and resold. Every time you get a spam email, spam phone call, spam text message from the post office saying that you have an incomplete address on, all of that is because somebody stole your data and sold it to someone else, because data is unbelievably valuable. Bitcoin is data. It is data that represents value and ownership and individuality and uniqueness. You can track all of it. Everyone can fact check the ledger whenever they want. Any nefarity is immediately apparent to absolutely anyone who wants to look. Anybody with an internet connection can access any amount of Bitcoin that they want. Anyone with an internet connection cannot access the amount of gold that they want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't challenge the fact that like gold has value. It does. If it didn't, then, people would not be killing each other for it on a regular basis. People would not be dying in mines. Right. Whatever. It's an unbelievably slanted comparison. And then if you want to get rid of all of that and say, I don't care about the velocity, I don't care about the cost, I don't care about the efficiency, I don't care about the environmental friendliness, and you just want to talk about the return on it as an investment. If you let's take Bitcoin for its entire lifespan.
Bad. It's bad for gold.
Its entire lifespan. If you put 14.9 years, if you put $1 into Bitcoin the day that it was created, and you also put $1 into gold on the same day, I don't know off the top of my head. It's tens of thousands of dollars. It's hundreds. It's millions of dollars. You would have $2 worth of gold. It's doubled in 15 years, which is not bad, but obscene when you compare it to Bitcoin. Bitcoin at this point has its own spot ETFs, much in the same way that gold got them. The Bitcoin spot ETF outperformed the gold ETFs in their first 10 years, in its first 10 fucking days. I'm exaggerating a little bit for effect now, but they have drastically outperformed the gold ETFs at a way shorter time frame. So, none of this is to say that like gold, well, actually, no, I will say gold is terrible for the environment. We haven't used it in this country to back our money in a long time, because we couldn't possibly acquire enough of it to back as much money as we print. I don't know. It's scarce, but it's not as finite. There is a lot of gold. We keep digging more of it out of the ground every day.
Well, and that's what I would actually argue that Bitcoin is more scarce than gold, in the sense that I think it is more likely an asteroid would crash into the earth or something like that, altering the gold supply forever, than it is that you could get an increasingly large network of people who are also increasingly globally distributed to agree that they would like to change the cap to Bitcoin's supply when there is no incentive for them to do so. Everybody who holds Bitcoin has a vested interest in this idea that the supply is capped. There will never be more. Could they change it if they want to? Yeah, that's what makes it great. But are they likely to? No, because the incentive is keep it scarce, keep it valuable. Also, it can't be forged or faked. You didn't say that. You danced around it. I just got to throw that out there for you. That's the cherry on top. I can forge and fake gold, man. Can you fake a Bitcoin? I don't think so.
You can try. So wait a second, Bud. Okay, at this point, I'm going to move on because I'm getting the sense that your mind is not very open, and I just presented you with lots of new information that did not move your needle at all. So I think that it would be, a waste to keep going. If you're trying to honestly tell me that if I adjust for inflation over the last 15 years, that gold is better than Bitcoin in what, performance?
I'm not sure that that's true. We definitely can move on, but when adjusted even for just the regular rate of inflation, Bitcoin has significantly higher returns than gold. We can look it up.
No. Let's fact check your claim there, Bud.
It's got a long history. Gold does. It is a very stable hedge against inflation, but Bitcoin, though it's not as old, it's just the returns are, it's not even funny. The returns are significantly higher. I don't have a number for you. Alex, I think, is looking for a number. Of course, if you prize stability, gold is certainly more stable than Bitcoin. And Bud, let me just say, I know you're having a heated debate with Bud over here, so let me step in and be the good cop, because you can't. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Let me say, Bud, we really do want to be a good, trusted source of information and love a good, spirited debate. But it sounds like you might benefit from spending a little more time with the numbers around Bitcoin, or like there may be some misinterpreting happening. I'm not trying to pick on you. Alex, do you have a fact check number for me with regard to inflation? Or are you still pulling that up? Oh my God, Christina's in the chat.
Hats off.
Hats off. It's getting serious, Christina. Because Bud, we're glad you're here. And, I don't think we disagree that gold is a given by our world value currency. But I'm not convinced that you've got a good argument for why it might be better or more helpful or more useful to everyday people. That's a good point to remind you that that's what this show is about. If you've got a question about cryptocurrency, crypto beyond currency, the future of the internet, where this is going, then we'll try and help you out. We are strangers on the internet who spent a lot of time working in this industry or researching these questions. We don't know everything, but we'd be glad to help you find the answer. We're here Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we've got a ton of other ways that you can get connected to our community. We've got the free YouTube channel where all the streams go. We've got the newsletter that's published semi-regularly with the best, briefest bits, links, tips, tricks from the show if you can't tune in. And, of course, the Discord community. It's free to jump in the conversation. That's where the show lives 24/7. And we would love for you to be there. You're the only thing missing. It's the fastest, easiest way to learn anything, but especially something like crypto where you don't even know which questions to ask. And there's so much misinformation out there. It's all available for you at the riseupmorningshow.com. Alex, what's the word on inflation? Do you have a good number for us? And then I'll check our comments for some more questions so we can float on.
So adjusting in here, let me pull up what the actual inflation rate average has been for that entire lifespan.
But Bud says, trick question. It depends on what country you live in. Bud, now you're just being silly.
Pick the country, Bud. We'll do it for whatever country you want,
man. Yeah. I can't think of a country with stable inflation where Bitcoin, which is growing at this rate, has not outpaced inflation and gold, which is growing at this rate.
Yeah, so here, we'll start with the United States. Adjusting for inflation, if we wanted to compare a $10 investment made on the 3rd of January, 2009 in Bitcoin and gold, January 3rd, 2009 is the first day that Bitcoin was ever mined. Today, you would have $15.01 worth of gold, and you would have $69,668,461.35 worth of Bitcoin.
So just a smidge more.
That is calculating for an average inflation rate in the United States specifically over the lifespan of Bitcoin from January 3rd, 2009 until right now at 49.28%. So that's half. If you'd like to name another country, we can do it again.
No, we don't need to do it again. I want to say to Bud that we're glad you're here and we hope you'll stick around. I really do, because it's important to have differences of opinion, but it's also important to have questions that we can answer with the facts. We want to help you get oriented to what the facts are. If you've got different facts, we'd like to hear about them. It's important that we have the ability not to trust any one person, influencers on a screen, but that we learn how to verify these things together so we can all make better decisions. We can all become more resilient to being misled. The best part of this is doing it with folks like you. So, Bud, I say, Alex, let's move on. Let's not test inflation anymore, because I don't want to belabor the point. And I think Bud's going to stick around.
I think I've made the point.
I think you made the point, and I think Bud's going to stick around. And we do have a couple of other good questions here. Hold tight. The chat is going crazy, though. Listen. I can't say this without being mean, but remind me to tell you later, Alex. Okay. I've missed a couple questions. One of the questions that our good friend Mel asks, our premium member Mel, thank you, Mel, for being a premium member and a valuable friend to the community. Do we think Tron, which has seen a lot of activity lately, will be like the next Solana? Which I can assume that, Mel, you mean just hot, active, people use it. To which I would say, and Alex, I'm curious what you think. Maybe we disagree here.
Yeah.
I would say that it will never be like the next Solana, but it's already as big of a deal. And to some people, maybe it's a bigger deal. Quick stats on Tron. Asian markets especially, it is one of the most widely used cryptocurrencies. USDT, the stablecoin Tether on Tron, is beloved by many people, surprisingly, in the Bitcoin community, who use it to send value back and forth when they don't want to trade Bitcoin. It's faster, cheaper. And Tron, as a network, has really quick settlement times, very cheap fees. I think that the big thing weighing it down is the lack of focus on adoption at scale in US markets, though we do see Justin Sun and Tron's face at a lot of conferences. Do you think, though, Alex, that Tron has an interest in or could ever become the next Solana? You know, the number 3, number 4, the token everyone's watching, the fastest growing, that kind of thing?
So I would say, in order to answer that annoyingly, you'd have to, I think, make a little bit clearer definition of what that means. Like, what do you mean by be the next Solana? Because we could pull a couple things out of that.
Yeah, don't let this become an exploded debate where we have to question what you mean when you say it exploded.
No. There's really only a few. Like, we could say, if we're looking at on-chain activity, like new projects launching, the meme coin casino effect, but instead of the way that it ran on Solana, like, could something like that run on Tron? The price of the Tron of TRX of the token, Solana
says real quick, just the growth.
Okay, so again, the price of the token.
Growth in activity, growth in price, growth in use.
Yeah, and Mel, there's zero apologies needed at all. It's a very valid and fair question. I'm just trying to make sure that when I answer it, it's like, an appropriate and encompassing answer. Because it's worth noting that Tron already has twice as much TVL, total value locked, than Solana does, right as of today. Twice as much, which is a number that measures exactly how much money is locked on Tron, as in like raw money that is being held like in stable coins on Tron or locked into DeFi protocols that's being staked, that's being used to provide liquidity, all that sort of, like, all of those things together make up this figure, TVL, total value locked. And it's a measure of how much money is in the ecosystem. Tron is number 2. Only behind Ethereum. Ethereum is at 46 something billion. Tron is at 8.17 billion. and then Solana's at like 4, low 4s. So in that sense, Tron's already bigger than Solana. So if Tron, opened the floodgates, so to speak, there is more liquidity there already that can be used to do stuff and make number go up. Now, the market cap of TRX versus Solana is a different metric. And so that I don't make it up, as things are
Alex,
up a little bit today.
I knew you were going there, and I could have jumped on it, but I was catching up with all our chat.
I got it right here. Excellent. The total market cap for Solana is 62.8 billion versus TRX at 13.2. So we have double the TVL with, a fifth of the market cap. So there's potential to grow there for sure. But Solana ran from $8 to 210 in this bull run so far, versus Tron, which has not had a run anywhere near that. Tron also, we don't hear too much about it in the States just because its dominance is due to the fact that it's real big in Asia, which is why it's, Solana's real big in the United States, which is why it's so much bigger. But if we look at, TRX has been going up, absolutely. But if we pull from the same-ish time, it went from a penny to 15 cents at its low in 19, went through the 2020, 2021, ran up to about where it is right now, actually. It's just a little bit over, or it's almost at exactly its all-time high from 2021 right now. Last bear market crashed all the way down to 5 cents, so it's up 3x. So its rise, not even close. Solana did a 21x in that time. So that growth, I think, has been due to, in part, to American adoption, which Tron would need to have. And right now, there's a lot of people who are sketched out by Justin Sun. That's always been the case. The popularity of the platform as an ecosystem is really only anything in Asia. They have a massive presence at U.S. conferences and conventions. I see them all the time. They have humongous booths, bigger than most. Lady Money, I would push back just to say that at these levels, speed right now for where we are between the two of them doesn't really matter that much. They're both very quick. Every time I send Evan something via Solana, it's less than a second by the time it's said, done, confirmed, and then a couple seconds later it's in his wallet. That's good enough.
So Alex, can I give you one more point, and then can I move us along? Because we do have a couple of questions that I've already forgotten about, but I promise I'll get to. Which is, recently too, we had Sun Pump, which you've mentioned, the meme coin frenzy, which is like Pump.fun, the meme coin casino in Solana, that is affiliated even in name with Justin Sun. And if you haven't done a look at Justin Sun, you really need to just Google his history, Mel. That's a good history lesson for you as somebody who's new to crypto. Sun Pump and the whole Tron network are backed by Justin Sun, who is a controversial billionaire and crypto founder, founded Tron. And it's his influence that has given these gamblers the confidence to participate in the Tron network. It launched in August, big spike in activity, and that's what helped the blockchain have all this frenzy. It had its highest revenue day ever in August. Tron spiked to a multi-year high. I think, though, that any of this success, it totally hinges on Justin Sun's reputation, his promotion. And he seems like the kind of guy who's going to do whatever it takes. But it's real questionable about how long our space is going to, live in the light of that sun, when he's going to be, prosecuted for something he's done in the past, et cetera, et cetera. He's an interesting guy, but he has a lot of influence and is the kind of guy who could manufacture a total pump. And absolutely. I think that signs point to that's what's happened. So can I steer you to a couple of questions, or do you have a final thought? I have some old questions that we forgot about.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so you get to pick, Alex. We have Banana Gun for Joe. That's got to be first. We need a little overview of that. Our sponsors for the show. But then we also had a question about Come on. Oh, you've answered it. I see. About the impact of Bitcoin buys and sells on the price that happens. We both kind of answered it. That's a quick one. And then we also had a question about, I wrote it down. Just look at my notebook. This is what my notebook looks like. Where am I supposed to find the questions I wrote down in a notebook?
It's okay.
I'll find it. Give us the banana question first. These are our show sponsors right now, so we do want to shout out Banana Gun for their continued support of the show. We will attempt to be as unbiased as possible in our overview of what it does for you. Joe's question was specifically about the price they take. Is it fair? Is it fast? Is it effective? And is their price commensurate with other Telegram trading bots who take a cut of your transactions?
That's a good. Do you know what BonkBot's fee or Photon's fee is off the top of your head?
No, and I could have prepared better to have all the numbers up, but I do know when we looked into the sponsorship and I looked at the fees, I believe it was equivalent to BonkBot. It may have been even a little bit better, but if it was better or worse, I remember thinking, it was a non-issue for me. It was comparable to Photon or BonkBot. And I'd be willing to bet Google doesn't tell us. Are you Google searching it right now? Who has the cheapest Telegram trading bot fees?
Evan, it's 2024. I don't Google anything anymore.
Yeah, it's all GPT. I can't believe you'd ask GPT such a recent question. Let's see. And if somebody in the chat knows, help us out.
It worked. It found it.
You're kidding me. What's it say?
It looks like. Oh, actually, okay. So compared to, I only did Bonk and Photon, so we could compare it to other bots too. I honestly don't know the names of any, but if you have another one, then throw it out there and we can look it up.
I'd say just those two. Those are great, industry standard. If Joe has one, I'll tell you.
BonkBot charges 0.5%. Photon charges also 0.5%. Banana Gun charges 0.4%.
Whoa!
So it's 0.1% better. Let's see. They've got there are features obviously to both of them. PhotonBot specifically does not charge a standard fee. It says that it depends on exactly what you're doing with it.
That's right. It does have paid features. It has paid features.
Yeah. And then Banana Gun has something also with its token that they sent me a link to through their docs that you could go look, but like some sort of fee rebate through holding a lot of tokens, but you'd have to buy a bunch of them. And if you're just making a few trades, I would say it's probably not worth it. I would say that the fees are exactly what I would expect from a service that I'm paying for like that, given what you can get in return for using one. So just in general, Telegram bots, if you're buying and selling, more sus tokens, or I mean, honestly, any token it works for, but the way that it's really highlighted is with the more sketchy casino slot machine pulls. Using Banana Gun specifically on Solana, I would say is the equivalent of playing in the casino, wherein you are pulling the lever on a slot machine. Because it's crypto, this slot machine is special, and it has a guy standing next to it holding a baseball bat, trying really hard to hit you in the head while you're pulling the lever. So not only are you risking losing your money, but a guy might hit you in the face. Using Banana Gun is like putting on a helmet when you stand there. You still have to pull the lever. You're still gambling on a token that might be bullshit. But at least you are protecting at least some of the risk. And yes, they work on pump fund addresses. There are a few baked in features that sort of help you. So there's a phenomenon in meme coin trading called being front run. If let's say Evan is buying and selling meme shitcoin, he's trying to embrace his inner degen, and he is taking a shot at sniping some new token. Evan is on deck screener, tracking new pairs, watching them roll in. We're seeing this classically trained actor at work right here. This is the man that's going to be on TV.
This is everything. All my training for this moment.
All of his training. So he finds a token. He's like, okay, this one looks good. It's brand new. It's just barely started to move. It's got a trendy narrative. I've done my thing. I sniffed it. Whatever. I'm gonna take a shot at this. And he goes through Radium, biggest DEX on Solana, and he makes his purchase. The purchase is submitted. There's a few settings in that transaction that Evan has to set prior to. Now, his wallet probably sets some stuff by default, but he can adjust it if he wants to. These would be things like gas allowance, slippage, which is slippage is quite simply it's going to be measured in percent, and it is a measure of how much money you will allow the price of the token you're buying to change up or down before the transaction cancels itself to protect you. So
for example, it's worth $1, it moves 10%. Then if I've got slippage set to 10%, if it's 90 cents by the time my sale goes through, it'll go. If it's not, it'll deny my transaction.
So all of those things considered, they take time to check though, if you're going through Radium. So Evan clicks buy, a few things happen, several seconds later, assuming that the transaction is successful, he has his purchase. What happens is that when Evan sends the request or initiates that transaction, and like 10% is huge. We're just making up a number for an example. But
honestly, when I'm trading meme coins, I trade with like 11% a lot of the time. I have reduced it since using Banana, but
when you're trading these hyper sketchy memes that in this instance, we're literally talking about memes that I won't even go grab a glass of water from my kitchen while leaving a transaction open. Like I am glued to the screen on the 1 minute chart at most.
It might have $50,000 of liquidity.
Yeah. And like you're also right. These are MEV enabled bots. You can set all that stuff up inside of the Banana Gun interface, which we'll get to in a second. So anyway, Evan submits this transaction. When he does that, he initiates the request for the transaction. People using software to track this stuff and bots to execute the trades for them, they see the request before it executes for you. And so if you're front running somebody, what you're doing is basically using a piece of software to scan for those initiation requests of the transaction and then sneaking in there ahead of them because it's so fast to basically steal that transaction from them and exploit the fact that they're trading with slippage and bump the price up or down depending on whether or not you are buying or selling.
Yeah.
To get ahead of that person. So,
that's how this works. You're paying a premium for this to get the validator to process your transaction ahead of theirs.
Correct. Yeah. So you still have to pay gas if you're just using Radium. In addition to that, like you're paying a slight fee using Banana Gun or a Telegram bot in general. And essentially it's not necessarily like a permanent, impermanent loss kind of situation. It's literally just because I'm using a piece of software that is faster than raw dogging it on a DEX with my Phantom wallet. It just means that like I am going to get a better price buying or selling. It's going to happen faster. And I cannot be front run because the front runners are using the software that I'm using. So I'm, can't beat them, join them kind of mentality here.
But it's kind of like a race car in the sense that if somebody drives it better, they can outperform and win the race.
Correct. Yeah, definitely. No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you can't just put anyone inside the seat of a Formula One and have them drive 200 miles an hour.
No, but the nice thing about Banana specifically is they have a lot of great documentation. For the partnership going forward, one of our goals is to help them create better video resources that will show people how to do things like snipe a trade or copy trade somebody else's wallet. The tools that they have, honestly, truly, like I used to use BonkBot, and then I started using a combination of like Photon and BonkBot. Now I tend to use Banana Gun. And I'll have Photon or Dex Screener open to like do some searching, but Banana Gun is, I honestly think it's a simpler, better interface. And I will say that I don't know if it's their marketing or if it's their tool. They don't seem to have a ton of like crazy incentives that are like super scammy or anything that would pump the volume like fakely, but they have captured, it was up from 16% to 20% of Solana meme trading market share. That was what, like a week and a half ago, I think. So they're growing, and they're the number one trading bot on Ethereum. So it's tough to be the king. It's easy for people to see you and try and take you off the throne. But what's Bunches say? Also, they've got Bunches. You know,
Bunches says it's not that tough to be the king.
Bunches says it's not that tough to be the king. Bunches, man, stop pointing that gun at me, bro.
So,
for anybody else who needs it, we have a tutorial overview where we drive through some of the basic features, the setup, the getting started, and show you where the docs are on our YouTube channel. And you can find it at the riseupmorningshow.com.
Yeah. And I would say too, just in the interest of complete and open honesty with you guys about how this sponsorship stuff works, you do not need to spend or invest any more money than the exact penny that you want to into the Solana meme coin casino using Banana Gun. Things that make us look good are people who use our referral link to create a wallet, regardless of whether or not you fund it. Obviously, if you want to trade meme coins, this is the way to do it. And I recommend that you use a service like this. And then give us a shout out on Twitter. If you see Banana Gun posting stuff, tell them that we sent you.
Yeah.
Make us look good. Because we're trying to leverage, this and the quality of our content and our community to pay some of our bills with the help of Banana Gun sponsoring us to be their brand ambassadors. Not so much to, relentlessly shill like their token or anything like that, which actually they're very explicit in saying don't talk about the token, which was the first green flag that I saw in their pitch to us. I am trying really hard not to laugh at Bunches unaliving the bathroom guy.
I know.
Cannot confirm or deny whether or not the bathroom guy has been.
Yeah, Doug, if you're alive, send a message in the chat. Let us know. Let us know if Bunches is holding you hostage in the bathroom.
But no, if you encounter a Banana Gun tweet, I recommend you follow them on Twitter. They post pretty good little pro tips about how to use it too, especially the sniping feature, which was one of the things that they would like us to make a video about, kind of explaining how to use. Sniping.
I want to get more in there because I've saw like 3 or 4 of those tweets about people who, so and so used our bot and they're the second on this meme token. They made an 11x, or they could have made a 60x, but they waited to sell and they just made 15x. And I'm like, oh my god, I need to be sniping with this thing.
Yeah, the pro tip there is use a service like Banana Gun to do these meme coin things, and then sell, take your profit. You can use it on both a mobile device or a PC. I personally like PC a little bit better just because it's bigger and I can just see it more clearly and I'm less likely to tap the wrong button. However, a feature that I'm also excited to hopefully make a video for them about, if they hire us to do this, is the fact that they're moving it out of Telegram and building a web app, which is just so much better than using Telegram. For this kind of thing. I totally get some people are sketched out by Telegram. Evan is literally one of those people that doesn't like to use Telegram. So getting a web app interface to do this trading is going to be infinitely better, and I'm very excited for that. Infinitely better compared to the Telegram bot service. So there you have it. If there's any more questions about it, let us know.
And if you do have a question and you're, it's Joe, if it's you, if it's somebody we know and you've been here with us and you're hanging out and you find it easier, you want to talk voice to voice, you can feel free. You don't have to call our 1-800 number anymore. We've got 21st century technology, baby. Hit the request button below to join the show live and ask us your question. If you are new or we haven't seen your name before, we do ask that you type in chat, join the Discord, get to know us a little bit better. And hey, if you're somebody like Michael who's asking, if I become a subscriber, if I get in your community, how do I speak to you guys one-on-one? Maybe you've got a question that you want to ask us. that's personal, that's private. I totally get it. The best way to do that is to visit the riseupmorningshow.com, where you can see the live classes that we offer and also book a coaching with us. You can get me, you can get Alex, you can get Will, you can get all three of us, two of us. We have a lot of different options, and they're for anybody to book those slots. But what we have done is we have created subscriptions for people who want to like accelerate their learning journey. If you're somebody who plans to spend time with us, and it's, you want to do it one-on-one, the best way to do it is to get a premium membership to our community for $9.99 or $19.99 a month. What you get is access to all that stuff at a deep discount. So, you save more than the cost of your membership on every coaching or on every live class. And I am wrestling right now with Eventbrite because I'm trying to kind of upgrade our courses. But just to give you a preview idea, we've got 2 live classes coming up that you can take. Really, there's several, but the first live class is like the crypto quick start, 0 to self-sufficient, confident, moving about the space investor. It's a 4-week course. You could register for each of the courses separately. It's a Web3 101. What the hell is this stuff and why does it matter? It's a how to use a wallet, how to buy, sell, trade cryptocurrency, hardware wallets, software wallets, how to install them, common pitfalls and mistakes. It's a portfolio principles class, which is to help you figure out, how do I do my own research into cryptocurrency tokens? Or if you've already bought some crypto tokens, like, where do you go from here? Do I have too many? Do I have not enough? What am I doing? That is not oriented around time. What am I doing, Alex? What am I doing? We're not going to tell you what to do. If you're
with magic internet money.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said yesterday, Alex, if you're going to buy a course or a coaching because you're expecting us to tell you like the secret list of 20 tokens that are going to make you rich, spoiler alert, you're going to be disappointed. But if you want to become a more self-sufficient investor, it's absolutely the best, most valuable way we can do it. We offer all this stuff for free here on the show, on YouTube, in the newsletter, in our Discord. But if you want to accelerate that and condense everything that we've learned in our time learning, working in the space into, your journey, shorter, quicker, that's how to do it. You can find it all at theriseupmorningshow.com. The classes are coming soon, hopefully today. And we're also going to do a class. Let me do this last quick commercial, Alex. I'm always trying to make my commercials shorter, and I'm always thwarted. We're also
so bad at short
commercials. For people who are content creators, this is a like everything we've learned in 5 years in 5 weeks course, where if you are a crypto content creator or you want to start creating content in the crypto space, this course will take you through how to start, how to pick your medium. Go ahead.
I would honestly say that we're going to use crypto content creation as an example. But you can absolutely take the principles from this if you think that like we are good content creators and apply it to your own niche. Like if you wanted to make content about cooking or anything, you can take the same, because the fundamental principles of being a good and honest content creator and creating content authentically and with integrity, you can apply to any niche at all. We're going to use crypto as an example because it's our forte. And that's the most specific, but I would say absolutely you can apply these things to any niche if you happen to want to do something else.
And so the goal is to take you from 0 to content creator. And we're going to talk about, especially as it pertains to crypto, how you can do so in a legally compliant, ethical way. We're going to have lots of ethical discussions together. We're going to talk about the ways to become effective, to become sticky, and then also help you get started. We're going to teach you by doing different kinds of role plays, and we're going to learn together. If you're aspiring to be a crypto content creator, we're going to go back and forth and say, okay, explain what is a blockchain? Trick, you can't talk about money. That kind of thing. And then at the end of it, what we hope to do is give all these creators a place to talk to each other together in our community, like your super group where you can bounce ideas, share feedback that will grow and expand over time. We want to give these people a credential. It'll be a pass or fail kind of thing because we want to invite you to help us teach others. You get to come in our community and hang out with all the people there. We'll introduce you to our audience. We'll welcome you on the show. And as our presence expands, what we hope to do is connect creators to opportunities for income. There are lots of sponsors like Banana Gun who want content creators that are going to tell a better story. It is up to all of us. And there are so many crypto creators, especially, but content creators everywhere who will, do poor research or share bad information or mislead folks, appeal to fear. And that's just not helpful. We are just two guys on the internet, but people really trust us. And we take that very seriously. So we want to help other creators earn the trust of people by creating better. If that's interesting to you, or you want to learn how to go from zero to crypto safely, securely, those classes are coming soon. It's all going to be at theriseupmorningshow.com. You asked about cost. Our live courses cost $49.99. It's a 2-hour course. You get question and answer, personal attention. They're capped at 15. And here's the best part. You can buy the course recording. If you can't afford that, we've got a $15.99 option. $15.99, you get the recording. Everybody who's a premium member or a premium plus member gets those for even less. You can buy a recording for as little as $6 if you're a premium plus member. If you want to buy a live course, it's $19.99. Now, the mega courses I told you about, the 4 weeks and the 5 weeks, those cost a little more. You got to do the math. What's 50 times 4 or 50 times 5 or whatever. But you can find that pricing and that information at the website. We're not going to hide it from you. We'll be very transparent about it. I've gone on way too long with this commercial.
Yes.
Alex, save me from myself. What's everybody talking about in the comments? If you have more questions, leave them in the Discord. The Discord, everything is at the Rise Up Morning Show.
They're talking about your hair, so it's all right.
Oh, yeah. We do need some hair sponsors, really, truly.
No,
the only thing better than my hair is your hair.
One of our task lists here for this week is to send out more sponsorship requests, because ideally we make enough money to do this full time and actually pay our bills at the same time, instead of what we're doing right now, which is doing this full time without making any money to pay any bills. And I would way rather have that money come from companies that make gajillions of dollars a year instead of you guys. So if you have any companies that you think, should sponsor us, like, I don't know, Warby Parker or Pantene, I would love to get like some sort of a thing started where we pick the one that we're trying to seduce or convince that like we are good and authentic creators that are worth, paying a little bit of money to represent the brand, and just getting everyone to, I don't want to do spam stuff. I fucking hate tag spam, but I love authentic, a sentence or two comments on their Twitter being like, hey, this is who you want representing the brand and this is why. And like little testimonials and stuff, especially if you think that this has been valuable, like that would be, I would say that would be just as valuable to me personally as like giving me a $10 donation, like writing a single tweet with a testimony about something that you found valuable about what we do and the network and the show and the platform. And Will is obviously included in this. He just happens to be buying furniture and medieval weapons at a flea market right now. But that kind of stuff would be awesome. And I really don't want to just do crypto brands, because like I love them, and don't get me wrong, it's just like I turned down a $3,500 sponsorship offer last week personally because it was an obvious scam. And Evan and I say all the time, like, dude, can you imagine if we were just willing to do a little bit of crime? If we just did
so much money.
If we just did a little bit of crime, we could be rich.
I would have rugged you guys a trillion zillion times on meme coins by now, since 2019. Oh
man, yeah, it's just rough. But at the same time, I don't know, it's not worth it, because if you sacrifice, like the trust of the audience, then no one's going to want to sponsor you anyway.
It's our most valuable asset for sure.
Michael, I did say that was meant as a slight to creators who are willing to do a little bit of crime for the sake of making some money. Anyway.
And so, commercials aside, we love you. You're the best part of what we do, and your trust in us is our most valuable asset. We want to leverage that so others will pay our bills. You deserve it. It'll help make the show better. Alex, you definitely need to put token unlocks and DeFi Llama. And we got to get CoinGecko on that list, man, too. I'm thinking there are a couple crypto companies that we use all the time. We're working on Coinbase, guys.
Absolutely.
but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, Coinbase, DeFi Llama, Dap Radar, CoinGecko, Dex Screener, Token Sniffer. I mean, all of these things. Anyway,
yeah, we're selling out, Alex. We're selling out. Let's get back to the good stuff.
let's get back to the good stuff. If there are any, now that we're done with the big intermission and infomercial, right. If there are any questions that are still remaining, we got a little bit more time, so drop them in, and let's go back through some stuff. I'm going to scroll a little bit because there was a couple of questions.
And I've got one here right at the bottom from our good friend Khalil, who asked, do we have any idea about Andy and Blast? Two separate projects here. So Andy is a boys club meme token, and I can tell you pretty quick, I'm not even really going to do too much looking at the chart. I am leery about any narrative that lasts for more than a couple weeks in the meme space. And based on what Landwolf has done, based on what some of the other boys club tokens have done, by which I mean they're kind of going down, I think it is possible and even likely that the sun is setting on this chapter of their story. I would not personally be investing sizable amounts in anything that is going down, especially if it's a meme. I don't know about you, Alex. I do expect to see, my last thought is that in as the election heats up, and as more people continue to come to cryptocurrency, the products that they're going to look at first are meme tokens, and the meme tokens they're going to go to are the ones that already have attention. Pepe, dog with hat, you name it. The popular memes that are listed on places like Coinbase, where someone new is likely to go first when they get here. Those are the memes I would expect to pump that are of a certain size. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say, Evan, this isn't directed at you because I already know the answer, but if anyone's seen the movie Wanted, there's a famous, test that he's put through where he has to jam his hand into a loom and try to catch the whatever you call the shuttle thing. That's really, like, in my opinion, at this point, how you have to play the memes. Like, there's almost no memes that I would be willing to hold long term. And my caveat, which I'm always a little bit hesitant to say, but please hear like the whole sentence here when I give you this disclaimer. I hold Pepe, but it's purely profit. Like, I bought it ages ago. It tripled, took out my whole initial, and there's still a little bit left. And every time it rips, I just sell a little bit more, and eventually it will all be gone. But that is kind of, I don't know, like, there's just not very many memes that have demonstrated staying power, like, over a cycle. Like Doge has been here for multiple cycles. But even this time, it didn't do anything compared to, like, what it did last time. And I don't want to get into the debate right this second. Is the bull run over? Whatever. But I would agree with Evan. Like, the thing with memes is that what you're doing is you're trading internet trends. So imagine, like, take the crypto out of the equation and just think about it like a trend on TikTok. Whether we're talking about like a sound that's trending that everyone's dancing to, or like what's hot right now. The Costco guys are kind of a thing right now. So, Evan, don't worry about this. This isn't for you.
Costco guys.
I'm talking about people who participate.
What are you guys doing in pop culture? Come on.
I'm talking about people who participate in internet culture. But I mean, okay, so the Hawk Tuah girl or any of the other things, like, think about how people treat those as like trendy cultural phenomenon, right? Where like it's all the rage, and then all of a sudden it's just last week's news and something funnier comes along. Like, that's really how this stuff works. So you have to kind of like, in order to be good at memes, you have to track things that are topical in crypto trends, and then don't be afraid to get the hell out of there. Like, that's really the secret to winning at memes, is don't go in expecting the 200x and like, I'm never selling until I hit that. Like, the reason that I almost never lose at memes is because I'm very happy with making 30% in 10 minutes and then never touching it again.
Alex, can I interject to ask, do you make 30% because you're putting technical analysis and sophisticated Fibonacci lines on meme coins?
No, I'm literally scrolling through the list and seeing which one catches my eye and makes me go, huh. And then I like, then you put $10 into it and hope for the best.
That's the reason. Yeah. Anybody who's got a chart open, It might be wasting time.
The only thing I will ever look at a chart of a meme for is not to do like TA or like try to track a trend or something, because you can't do TA on a meme that's been alive for 10 minutes. It's just like, has this thing already rugged? Is literally the only thing. Yeah, like is it dead? You know, and if you want to see a great example of that, just go look up the chart for any influencer launched meme, and you will see exactly what a dead chart looks like. Pick your poison and look at the chart. And I can say that blanket statement. Every single one of them is dead.
He's telling you the truth.
Just go take a look. Take a look, and then, you know, and then move on. But don't buy influencer memes. Don't ever buy influencer memes. Anyway, I was scrolling for questions and then I got distracted with meme philosophy.
No, it's okay. I have some more questions that I think are mostly recent. We had a question about Decide AI, whose website is decideai.xyz. And I want to know what you think about this website, because it could be as much of a nothing burger as this other AI product, but I really like their website and am inclined to think that this is actually the kind of solution, even though I've only looked at it for 10 seconds, that would be helpful for a crypto company to try and do. I don't see anything about a token, which doesn't mean that they don't have one. And they are partnered with, Nick, are you ready for this? Dfinity.
Sorry, I was reading a comment in the first sentence. Which one are you looking at right now?
I'm looking at decideai.xyz.
As in the full word decide, or is it like
decide, like you better decide, AI.xyz if you want to play it long at home. Now, I'm not saying we should all go out and buy this, but I am saying, like, just based on my scroll of the whole homepage of the website, I haven't already tossed my cookies, which honestly puts it in the top 10% of most crypto companies that I look at.
Yeah, I'll say right off the bat that, like, this is kind of funny. This giant scrolling marquee of Decide AI is so egregiously terrible as a design feature.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
That it makes me like a little bit more interested in reading about this thing, because I'm like, okay, I bet you an engineer made this because he was like, yes, this looks like what the people want.
But like, I love the way the information is presented. They say the future of intelligence, creating LLMs, which is jargon, but most people know it, that benefit users, contributors, and developers. Simple, straightforward.
I will also give some grace just to say that if we're writing like a technical explanation of something that is machine learning or AI related, like, one of the truths that you just have to accept is that you can't unjargonize everything. Like, there is no simpler word to describe artificial intelligence. You have to write AI if that's what you're talking about. So I would never knock someone for using appropriate language. The thing that I don't like is when you have someone who's like, we are building the future of the decentralized internet using DPIN, DSci, AI, gaming, and whatever. And it's like, okay, shut the hell up. But if someone's like this, here's a great example, closed-ended models, generic data sets, and scaling issues are holding us back. Like, okay, I can immediately understand exactly what that means because I frequently use LLMs that have closed data sets, and I know that I constantly run into a roadblock. So if you're trying to describe a problem to me, then I can read that sentence and I can think like, okay, do I know if you're going to solve this yet? No. But do I know that you're at least addressing like a genuine problem that people who use LLMs, especially people like me who use them every single day for work, do run into? Yes. Because every time I run into that wall, by a closed data set, like before ChatGPT could use the internet, for example, when it was, like I'm only trained on data up to September of 2021. That immediately is a problem that like I myself can relate to because I personally experience it, and that's what I'm always looking for.
And Alex, right below that statement you read, they say our suite of 3 products make this solution possible. And I see they have a protocol an ID product that I bet is some sort of on-chain verification, and then Decide Cortex, which is grayed out, which tells me it's coming soon. I don't see any mention of a token anywhere. So already, frankly, I'm bullish.
Yeah, no, it's just, it's cheaper than OpenAI's hosting. Okay, cool. That makes sense. The data is secure thanks to blockchain. I know for a fact that the whole point of a blockchain is to make data more secure, so that checks out. Right now, my mind is not made up that I think that this is the future or it's going to be successful or I would invest in this. I'm just saying this to say that I haven't been turned off of reading further by seeing obnoxiously glaring red flags yet. So it's this, did I make a video about that? Yeah, there's a video that I posted not too long ago that I can put in Discord. That's my process, my general research guide with my big graphic, that PDF that I made. So I'm still in phase 1 with this thing because I just heard about it 4 minutes ago. But I haven't been scared away quite yet.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. This is interesting. They've got a model that you can try.
Yeah, I would read further at this point.
I would too. What should I ask it? Compare the inflation. I'm typing with one hand, so it's suspenseful, of Bitcoin to gold. Let's see.
Alrighty, bud.
Oh, and I even had a typo. So let's see how it deals with that. It's a little slow so far, but it seems to work. And they have this disclaimer too while it's thinking. The current 65 token limit, which if you know anything about LLMs, is pretty low. That includes both input and output tokens. The price of Bitcoin has been rising for a while. Well, we'll come back to that.
This is making me bearish.
Yeah, it's making me bearish too. But you know what? The fact that they had the confidence to see this and post it online, and the fact that they have a product that you can use, which presumably is a decentralized on-chain thing, I don't know, GPT sucked at the start too. GPT-1 was nothing, So I would look at them too.
And for the record, I do agree with Sleeps when he says, no reason this needs a token. I don't see a need for me to buy a cryptocurrency at this point. If what you're trying to tell me is that you have a better LLM than for X, Y, and Z reasons, cool. There's a lot of work left to do to convince me to buy a cryptocurrency. I'm very notoriously hard to convince.
Yeah, I don't know that they have a token. And It seems like, if I had to guess, the Decide ID is probably some sort of NFT. And then however this is on chain, I don't know. But the front and back end are hosted on the internet computer. So I think that's the integration of blockchain.
Yeah, because they have a link out to Nuance, which is a Web3 blogging thing that I'm pretty sure is built on ICP.
Well, I'm going to read you this answer. It's still not done yet, but this is what I have. I have a full sentence that says, the price of Bitcoin has been rising for a while now, but it has been falling for a while now.
Okay, bearish.
So we gotta go back to the drawing board on that question.
We got some work to do. Decide.
Yeah, it's starting to repeat itself. The second sentence is the price of Bitcoin has been rising for A, and it's been stuck at A for about 30 seconds. So good try.
Another pop culture reference. that thing where Hammer Tech is unveiling his take on the Iron Man suit, and what is that, Iron Man 2? Or 3, and it just the guy's in it and he's kind of walking a little bit, all of a sudden it just turns the whole torso around. That's the vibe I just got. Oh, yikes. Okay, never mind. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Looks like there is a token DCD on CoinMarketCap. We can check it out another time. I do want to maybe move on to one final question and then
Yes.
send our dogs and ponies off into the sunset. I'm glad to leave it up to you, Alex. Sonoran asked us about this yesterday, so I'd love to be a good steward because Sonoran's our good friend, about Venom. I think we hadn't looked at it, and I pulled it up yesterday, and honestly, I forgot to keep looking because we got distracted by something else. So do you want to do that, or do you want to answer a different question? Venom is a layer 0, or it claims to be. And I think we started to look at it, but we went to the Ethereum website.
Well, I specifically brought it up yesterday because I hated it, and I saw a video of someone shilling it, and it immediately made me angry. And I left a comment asking like why this thing was any kind of good, and they ignored me. And I'm sorry, like you saw the comment, so
I did.
Oh, actually, that's a good one. There was a question about Ondo earlier that we did not address, so we could do that. Because it came up specifically like inside of the conversation about Tron versus Solana. Okay. And my initial response was we can explore it a little bit further, but that it's not really a fair comparison because they're two very separate kinds of products and projects. They're not necessarily meant to be the same thing.
I'm sorry, say that again. It kind of cut out for me.
That the Ondo question had initially come up when we were talking about Tron versus Solana, but I basically, the only thing I had said about it so far was just that it's not a fair comparison because they're not the same kind of project. So you wouldn't, like, Ondo is never going to be the next Solana because it's not trying to be. It's very different.
Real quick, let's at least address why you don't like Venom.
Yeah.
Alex said it's because influencers are talking about it, but is there another reason? I've got the website up and I remember what I thought about it.
No, it was exclusively one tiny influencer that I saw. I wouldn't say that that's why at all. Just go to the website, and look at it. It's a microcosm of buzzwords and vague platitudes about that's it. The website to me, I'll go and say it word for word so I don't misquote it. But basically, the vibe I got was that like if a high school student was supposed to like design a blockchain and what they did was copy paste Ethereum's description into ChatGPT and say rewrite this with different words so that I can plagiarize this story. That is the vibe that I get from Venom. Secure by design, scalable by nature. They have a wallet. Their mission is to build a blockchain. I hate it when people just for no reason capitalize random words and sentences, which they do. That will function as the main infrastructure for a global ecosystem of Web3 applications possessing ultra-fast connection speeds and infinite scalability to meet the demands of an ever-expanding user base. So their mission is to make a blockchain that people will use. Great. Welcome to every other blockchain on Earth. There's like a few things, like it is a blockchain, so it's got the standards, a staking thing, a wallet thing, a blockchain explorer. It's made for developers. There's a link to its documentation, which, basically my only question was like, how is this the sales pitch is this is going to replace Ethereum, and I'm like, okay, how? Because I don't see a single thing about this that is any kind of like unique. Like its use cases is word for word the Ethereum use cases, like from the Ethereum website. And I'm not saying that like Ethereum is the end all be all, because of course being a faster, cheaper Ethereum is a viable use case for a blockchain. But if we then open that up, okay, great. So you're not competing with Ethereum, you're competing with Avalanche, Solana, Tron, BNB, like all of these things that are infinitely bigger than this. And if you don't have a unique reason to stand out, like something special, because look at the competition between those other big layer ones. Avalanche knew that just by itself being cheaper and faster was not a way to stand out and pass anyone else. So what did they do? They recognized the fact that they had these multiple chains that could be optimized for different things, and they leaned hard and fast into the Web3 gaming narrative, and they started to optimize for game developers and designers to build stuff over there with them. And that helped. That made a huge difference, and that was great. Solana, how do they stand out? Because just being cheaper and faster doesn't matter by itself. Ethereum is still the king. So Solana leaned into this payments processor, and not only moving things quickly, but introducing less hurdles and barriers to entry for users to get on and start doing all those things. By eliminating those gates, and that helped. And then you could look at other blockchains that are cheaper, faster, that haven't done any of that stuff, and they're not going anywhere. Cardano's cheaper and faster. Polkadot's cheaper and faster. Everything is basically cheaper and faster.
This website reminds me of a lot of websites we've seen too for all those companies, and many that you don't even know because they're just not here anymore.
Yep. It's a generic copy paste type of template for a new layer one that's cheaper and faster than Ethereum, and absolutely nothing about that. Like, if you took the word Venom off of this and you asked me to tell you which user or which website this was, I'd have no idea, because it's like word for word every other layer one on the planet.
And do you know who they're really designing this for? This is for two people. This is for, first of all, venture capitalists. Layer ones are competing for attention first from venture capital partners. So they need to appeal to being the best infrastructure, the best network. If I was the second group that this is for is anybody who can get in early. If you are a speculative retail investor, it is not a bad play to just find as many layer blockchains as possible. Layer 1, layer 0, layer 2. And as new as they are, as early as you can, put $1 into it. Because some of them, because they are the infrastructure upon which the rest of this stuff is built, will attract a lot of money. Some of them will go the way of the dodo. But there are fewer competitors in the infrastructure space versus the meme coin space, for example. Because they are more investable by venture capitalists, they will have bigger market caps. And therefore, they're usually less risky than a meme play. But that's what I would look at. Let me just say the last thing is I would be looking, the proof in the pudding I'm looking at for a layer 1 or layer 0 company is I want to see first, who are their venture capital partners? Have they taken venture capital investment? How are the tokens allocated? What is their unlock schedule? What is their vesting schedule? Is there a risk that if I buy it, somebody else is going to dump on me later? And if you don't know what that means, stick around. We'll talk about it in the course of our friendship. And number 3 is, are people using this? Is this a place where people can, they claim to have staking, they claim to have a wallet, they're going to have an exchange, they have a very usable language, they say, but are people actually using it? I'd go to somewhere like DeFi Llama for that, but I wouldn't invest unless it met those criteria and unless I was really, really early. What do you think?
Here's the results of a 30-second scan of their social media. The Venom Foundation on Twitter has 1.2 million followers. That's a lot. The interaction on their posts is exclusively 2 things. What look like real people calling it a scam, and then what look like ChatGPT generated bots saying that it's the future of innovation in technology and a very exciting and promising ecosystem. Like, word for word, it's just copy paste spam comments in both of those categories.
Not bullshit. I actually think, Alex, another thing we could do aside from crime, if we wanted to make a lot of money in this space, honestly, I think we could make a lot of money doing this, is we could get about $30,000 for a website. And then we would tell someone about the layer 1 we are building, and we would have them design that website. I think we could have a more competitive layer 1 website than most of these people. We're partnered with Chainlink. I'll get a burger from McDonald's so we can partner with them. We'll buy lunch at Whole Foods so we can partner with them.
I use Gmail, so we're partnered with Google.
Okay, good. And then I'll call Chris Dixon. Maybe he'll talk to me. And we'll get a $10 million market cap from a $1 million gift, and then we'll do a Series A. Huh?
What brand is your car?
It's a broken truck. You're telling me I need to get a rental car and show up at the meeting?
No. I'm making a point. What's the brand? Is it a Dodge?
It's a Dodge. It's 2003 Dodge Ram.
This is the first layer 1 to be supported by all 3 Toyota, Dodge, and Volvo.
See, that's the thing. This is what we should be doing, Alex. Instead of doing our morning show educating people, we should be raising a Series A for our layer 1 blockchain that is going to be the fastest, cheapest, greenest, most scalable, and your dog's favorite. Obviously, dogs love it.
Yep. So
$100 million company by tomorrow.
The only like articulated response that I see in these comments that makes me think that a human being wrote this particular comment is saying that Venom has been or had been advertising and promoting an airdrop for a long time, and then at the last minute they juked everyone and just sent them an NFT instead, and no tokens ever went out. So that's why everyone is calling it a scam. And there's just lots of like, where are our tokens? My tokens just disappeared. Please return the tokens. Is there a reward for this? I lost this, like, scam. This account called Satoshi's Girls comments on every single post with almost the same comment. That's obviously a bot. It's just their social media interaction and their social media presence is the most sus thing I've ever seen. It's so bad. Meatball is not impressed.
I was like, what was that, dude? What was that?
Meatball's not impressed.
Yeah, she's over it. She's laying down on the job. Oh my God. Sweet girl. Sweet girl. She says, I'm ready for my dad to take me outside. Okay, so let's do a final questions lightning round. We'll come to our final thoughts in a minute, but let me remind you that, especially if this is your first time or you're still new here, that we're so glad you're here. You're the best part of this show. And we are live Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. But the place you want to be is in the Discord server where the show lives 24/7. That is how you learn this stuff. It feels overwhelming. You got so many questions. Am I ever going to catch up? You absolutely will. We're just regular people. We've spent a lot of time here and we've had a lot of fun here learning, and would love to share what we've learned with you, as would everybody in our community. It's a great place to verify information, to point out scams, to save time on research, share what you know, learn and grow together. We also have a Thursday night stream coming up, Rise Up After Dark. I will not be there. I've got a gig at Cafe.
We do have a guest, though.
Miss all the good stuff. Who's our guest?
Yeah, you are missing the good stuff this time, because my friend Michael, who is an ex-SEC attorney, will be joining us for that stream. And
Really?
Bring your questions if you want to hear from a licensed attorney that used to work for the SEC.
I just can't believe it. I just can't. Listen, I miss all the cool stuff. Okay, well, I might be tuning in from my gig and hanging out in the chat. And another reminder too, since we're talking about Discord and scams and the SEC and keeping people safe, lol. If you ever get approached by anybody pretending to be us, they're in our Discord sometimes. They are in our TikTok lives. They're in our Twitter lives. People impersonate us and reach out to you to try and separate you from your money. We are never, ever, ever, ever going to message you first for anything. If we need to get a hold of you, we will tell you publicly that you can expect a message from us. We will request you. We will show you how to verify profiles. We have lots of tools like that in Discord because it's very tough out here to cut down on scams. But the best thing to do is share helpful information together. Add us, follow our profiles if you don't already. And if anybody does reach out to you, let us know. We'll be glad to block and report them. And never hesitate to ask, hey, Evan, is this you? Hey, Alex, is this you? No problem with asking that question. We're glad about it. And with that, Alex, I don't know if there's any final questions in the chat that you wanted to touch, but I would love to hear your final thought. What's your last word, good joke, suggestion, question?
I think I'm well met. Venom is a skip.
Venom is a skip it. Yeah, Venom is a skip it. People in chat are just. Period. They are just. The chat is just. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the comments. We've had really good conversation today. Pay attention to what people are saying before we end the live. If somebody starts off with a "How is your trading going?" with a "Hey bro," with a "Are the crypto markets treating you well?" It's definitely a scam. It's definitely not me. I'm never ever going to start a message that way in my whole life. We'll be back tomorrow. And we'll be in the Discord. So, my friends, thank you again for another great show. Alex, I'll catch you in a few. Yeah?
Yeah, I'll be around.
Everybody else, until next time, rise up.
You guys.